so strong. She is educated, talented. She knows she's a woman.
Hi, welcome to the Extra Old Woman Show. This week, our guest today, we are honored to have with us Mrs. Tucci Ivowi. She is a founding member and the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Commodity Exchange. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
She's beautiful, so strong. She is educated, talented. She knows she's a woman.
Welcome back from the break, and let's just delve right into the discussion. Hi, Tucci. It's such an honor to have you on my seat.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here.
In your own words, if I ask you to describe who is Tucci Ivowi, how would you describe yourself?
I'd say I'm a simple Ghanaian woman, born in Ghana, raised outside, came back to Ghana of my own volition, loved it so much, and I never went back. I've been in Ghana for more than 18 years now. I love my family, God, and I believe that people are to be respected. So I value people, I respect people, and I think that if we all lived like that, we'd live, a good and happy life. That's me in a snapshot.
Snappy but nice. Now, you're currently the Deputy CEO and a founding member of the Ghana Commodity Exchange. First of all, how does that make you feel? Being the first, you started with Nestle Ghana. We have about 18 years experience with Nestle. Not Nestle Ghana, but Nestle company.
I've done, more than about 16 years with Nestle, 15 years directly in the company.
Okay. And
before coming to the commodity exchange, yeah.
Okay, and with Nestle, you were the very first female executive for Central West Africa, if I'm right.
Yes, I was the first female business executive officer for Nestle Central and West Africa region. It was a wonderful experience. I worked with some really great people from all over the world. Nestle is an amazing company doing, really good things. In every country they're based, and no different here in Ghana or in Central and West Africa.
So if I track your career, I would say you find yourself mostly amongst areas or positions that are mostly dominated. Like here at Commodity Exchange, you're not only the Deputy CEO, but you're a founding member. How does that feel, and how did that even start?
Okay, how does it feel being a female amongst many males? Great. I think, we have a lot to learn from each other. It is said that you will only get the best if you have different minds, different brains joining together to create something or to work to build something. Men and women, generally we know they're different as sexes, but you'll find a lot of commonalities as well. But I think if you look at some of the areas that people traditionally talk about, males being more assertive, females being more empathetic, there's a lot of talk like this, and you can use that as general parlance, but honestly, I don't really think it's the case. I think it's about finding your niche, finding what you're good at, and bringing that to the table. If you're working as a woman in a male-dominated environment, I think it's not good to dwell on the point of being a woman. You need to dwell on what you're going to bring to the table, because that's what everyone else is going to do, and establish that kind of presence and equality. I've never, in any of the jobs or careers I've had, felt that I was a woman working amongst men. Even though technically, when you're in the room, that's what you'll see. It really never felt that way. I felt that I was working amongst a team of people who had the same objectives and who were trying to work together to achieve those objectives. To be in certain positions, you need to be driven. So I think that's one of the things that we all have in common. People who want to achieve results, people who want to see growth, people who want the organization and the people they work with to grow at the same time. And so that's what I felt I had in common with that group, rather than looking at what made me different, in terms of being a woman. Yeah.
Okay, so it was the drive which you found common amongst, so that's what brought you together, not the sex. That's great. But how did this whole dream start? The Ghana Commodity Exchange. Being a founding member, I'm sure you can give us the genesis of how it started.
I will not claim it as my dream. I think building a commodity exchange in Ghana has been a dream for many people over the years. There are a lot of people who have put a lot of work, a lot of research, education into getting this thing off the ground. It's probably, I'm not exaggerating if I say it's been at least 20 years in the making. I got involved a few years ago. The work I was doing with Nestle, there was a point when I was in charge of the coffee business. There was a point I was handling the confectionery business. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to coffee, when it comes to cocoa. But there I was looking at the end-to-end value chain. So when we talk about from farm to cup or, farm to fork, I was really able to see commodities being turned into, not only products but brands where you add value all along the way. And so, looking at how as a country we can look at adding value to those commodities even before, companies take them and turn them into something great. I knew that I could bring some of my experience to bear, and I was passionate about seeing this project get off the ground. It's something which, when done successfully, can impact positively on the lives of millions of farmers, especially smallholder farmers, and can have a huge positive effect on the agricultural economy. Why wouldn't I want to be part of something that can help my country, grow? So yes, I was very happy to be part of the early stages when we were actually trying to set up the company and get the operations off the ground. I'm sure you know that the current government has a lot of plans when it comes to building agriculture and then moving into industrialization. So the one district, one factory, actually even before one district, one factory, let's take the Planting for Food and Jobs program. The aim is to improve productivity and improve the quality of commodities produced. So you're increasing production volume, but also the quality of production. After that, you need a market. So this is where the Ghana Commodity Exchange steps in. We're here to help to provide access to markets, not only locally, but internationally, maybe starting within the sub-region, but honestly, moving across the world. And then you have the one district, one factory who can take some of these commodities and add further value, process them into goods that can be then branded and sold, again, not only in Ghana, but across the world. So it's really a whole value chain, and each of these programs fit one into the other. And I think that's what's so exciting, where we're doing something which truly can transform the nature of agriculture, but also move us into an industrialized state within just a couple of years. So
to a layman, how would you break it down? I understand, and most of my viewers know what the Ghana Commodity Exchange does, but excuse me to say to the illiterate farmer, how would you break it down to him? What does the Ghana Commodity Exchange stand for? And
honestly, I think the farmers know even better than yes, because we've already started working with them. You are a farmer, you have a commodity, you want to sell your commodity and make a good living from selling your commodity. You can come and sign up with the Ghana Commodity Exchange and become a member and start trading through the exchange. You do have to be a member to trade. You're a buyer, you want quality commodities that you can rely on, and you don't want to have to go from farm to farm looking for the volumes you need. You can come to the commodity exchange, a one-stop shop, and purchase the commodity you're looking for in terms of the grades, the standards. So I might be a manufacturer producing products for consumers to eat. So I want the best quality. I want a grade 1 maize, for example. I know that if I come to the commodity exchange and ask for grade 1, I will get grade 1. So this is what we do. You come, you sign up as a member. We have warehouses in several regions across the country, depending on where the grains are produced. So we get the commodities deposited in these warehouses. As a buyer, you sign on and you have bank accounts that are linked to the commodity exchange. And we basically help to make the transactions easier. So no more shopping around. Come to us, ask for the commodity you want, the quality you want, and we'll guarantee the delivery of that commodity. And for the seller, we'll guarantee payment for your commodity. So this is what it is. There is a lot more information on the website. It's www.gcx.com.gh. But I'll be happy to go into more detail if you like.
I think in short, the commodity exchange is just a sophisticated warehouse, a big sophisticated warehouse where you can get almost every commodity you need. You sort of intermediate.
Not yet. So we've only been in operation for a year and a half, about 18 months, and we decided to start with some food security crops. So we started with maize, we added sorghum, soybean, recently sesame, and we'll be adding other commodities. We'll be adding rice. Hopefully this year. We actually started the process before all the COVID crisis, the lockdown came into effect. Before we bring on board any particular commodity, we have to go through a series of processes, value chain analyses. Then we have to go to the Securities and Exchange Commission for the rights or for authorization to list a given commodity, knowing that we've done all the checks we need to do. So for every single commodity, there's a thorough process. It is not just a sophisticated warehouse. Where the sophistication comes in is that when you bring the commodity there, we standardize it. So we check the quality. We can help you to improve the quality by doing things like cleaning and drying. Then we'll grade it. So when you leave it with us, you know if it's a grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, or grade 4, depending on the commodity. And then you get your electronic warehouse receipt. What is interesting about the exchange is that when you come to trade, it's actually an electronic platform. So you don't come to our trading floor and look for the buyers and sellers. You simply enter your order into a system. As a seller, you put in your sell order or your asking price. A buyer will come in and do the same, putting in their buying price. And the system electronically will recognize when there is a match. Okay, and then a trade is affected. So there is definitely a high. Yes, but you said sophisticated warehouses, and I was saying that it's a whole ecosystem. It's a lot more than just a warehouse. Yeah, but
I get it. So how is the Ghana Commodity Exchange connecting our producers to the outside world?
So we haven't done so much yet in terms of connecting our producers to the outside world, again, because we recently started, but and it also depends on which commodities we're trading. We started to get interest last year from some countries, particularly Vietnam, for example, for cashew. So we're currently working on, the cashew value chain and hoping that we can bring cashew on board this year. So we're in the process of, we finalized the value chain analysis, and then we need to go through the other steps to be able to list it on the exchange. So a commodity like that, for instance, will command a local market, but probably a larger international market. Now, because the systems are electronic, members can be, based anywhere. They can be located anywhere and still trade through the Ghana Commodity Exchange. So we're doing some work to link up also with other exchanges and make sure that the platforms, the technological platforms are robust, and they really are. So this is exciting, and I think this is one of the major breakthroughs that we can see as far as getting our commodities out there and putting Ghana on the map as far as global trade is concerned.
Okay, so how would you grade the business sustainability here in Ghana?
Business sustainability in general, I mean, any business is as sustainable as you want it to be. We've seen companies, organizations that have been here for decades. It tells you that sustainability exists. There's no question about sustainability. So I think, for any business, especially new businesses setting out, doing very comprehensive strategic plans, looking at risk, And then not always maybe diving in, but building the businesses step by step, is going to be critical. Getting good people, because at the end of the day, businesses are not just buildings, it's the people who are driving these organizations. So getting good people, investing in those people in terms of training, understanding what issues are at hand for your, different business is important. And no, there's no question that we can build sustainable businesses in Ghana.
Oh, okay. So looking at our current commodity exchange status, do you think it's possible for Ghana to attain the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda?
I don't think that we can look at one organization and talk about attaining a Ghana Beyond Aid.
Okay.
I say that Ghana Beyond Aid, not only is it possible, it will absolutely happen. We have the resources, we have the people. I think, was it last December we had the year of return?
Yes.
Where the government was, encouraging people to come, all the diasporans.
We had after the year of return.
And we have, exactly, so we have Ghanaians in Ghana, extremely well educated, leading organizations. We have those outside Ghana who are excited about coming back as they see the possibilities and the growth
like you
that we're undertaking. We have the resources. We have the people.
We do?
We don't?
No, I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate, but are we willing as a people to work?
Now, I said we have the people. Talking about willingness, definitely there has to be an attitudinal shift. We have two sets of people. We have those who believe in the country and who are willing to put the work in and take that pride and say, I want to be part of helping my country to grow. We know that we can make it, but we all need to do our part. And we have those who just complain. Of course, they're not going to be the ones who help us to take it forward. But I think that those who have the right mindset should be encouraging, those others to actually get on board, speak positive messages. And, there's nothing like walking the talk. When people see you do something, they're more likely to do it versus when you just say something. So no, we have the resources, we have the people, we have the capabilities. But yes, I fully agree with you. We need to bring everyone together on board. We need an attitude shift. Less entitlement and more hard work so that we can really grow with the speed that we should be growing at. Yeah.
I like what you said about when it comes to walking the talk, because it seems to be a big problem for us. Or it looks as if Ghanaians, when they travel outside, they get more patriotic than when they are here. What is it out there that gets them wanting to come home and now making a difference that probably ordinarily that same Ghanaian wouldn't have done when he or she were home?
It's a really great question. I like your question. People always think the grass is greener.
It's not.
People always think the grass is greener, and somebody somewhere said the grass is greener where you water it. You have to know what you have.
Can you please say that?
That the grass is greener where you water it. You have
Not
to
on
know
the
what
other
you
side.
have and put everything into it. Why are Ghanaians outside seeming to be more patriotic? I don't know, maybe because they see what those who are here are not seeing, the huge potential, the growth. It's not remained static, Even though I've now been here physically for at least a good 18 years, I've seen with my eyes the progress. And so I think, those who are here, if you're Ghanaian, you should love Ghana. There's nothing out there that's, more special. Every country is different and, you're going to go and have wonderful experiences elsewhere. But I think, you should take pride in who you are, where you come from. And if you're not happy with it, don't complain about it. Do something about it. Roll up your sleeves and say, okay, if I'm a carpenter, let me make the best ornaments that, we can be proud of and ship to other parts of the world. If you're a businessman, let me build a business that can go beyond the shores of Ghana and have, people from around the world wanting to patronize my products. Whatever you do it and do it, with pride. So yes, I think this is something we really, really need to take seriously, and we need to accelerate.
Wow, I'm really, really enjoying this part of the conversation. The grass is greener when you water it, not on the other side. So you can be on the other side, and if you still don't water it, it's still not going to be green. I'm speaking with Tucci Ivowi. She is the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Commodity Exchange and a founding member. We take a quick break. We'll be right back.
She's beautiful, so strong. She is educated, talented. She knows she's a woman.
Welcome back. Now let's just go straight to the conversation because it's too interesting to just hold it. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about how unpatriotic some of us are, and then it changed when we find ourselves there and realize that, oh, we had it all here, which I think is very, very true. That same advice, I want you to circle it down to women, whether outside or here, women who are looking up to you. You've done incredibly well for yourself as a woman. I'm going to ask your age because I think you look too young to have accomplished all that over the years.
Apparently, it's not polite to ask for one's age, so I won't answer you.
Okay, and I'm sorry for asking this. But you can tell me later, right?
But it's easy to find out. If you really want to know, you'll find a
I
way
will
to
have to,
know.
yes, how old you were when you started it all. That is when I can come to a conclusion. But to women like us, women around the world, aspiring to be like you and even much greater, some of us believe that per your background, oh, I have to probably go to school abroad and come back home before I will be accepted and all that. What advice would you give to all of us?
I think one thing I'll say every single time is focus. So people have always asked me, what did you do was it always your dream to climb the ladder? Did you ask, for promotions? Were you assertive in making sure you told your bosses what you wanted to do? And I can honestly tell you that it was never the case with me. I believe in loving what you do. I don't think you can do a good job if you don't enjoy what you're doing. So any and every single position I've ever had, I've been so involved, so into what I was doing, really enjoying that particular job, that role, trying to get the results for that particular role. That's all I focused on. And you'll be shocked when that's all you focus on. Hopefully you will get those results. You get the results and then somebody comes and says, oh, I think you're doing a great job here. I want to put you here. And that is what has been my story, my personal story. That's what's happened. I didn't have a plan for career progression. I didn't have a plan at any stage for what my next step should be. And so that's what I say. I think people spend a lot of time thinking about, wanting to get there, and, it means I have to get this now, I have to do that now. And in thinking about that next thing you're going to do, you're losing focus on that thing you should be doing right now, to get the results you need right now, to actually pass the test and to prove your credibility, to actually be given an offer to do that next thing you want to do. So that's the advice I would give as a woman here, whether you went to school here, you went to school outside. I think you have very similar opportunities. So it's really about making the best of the position you have and showing that not only are you good enough for that role, but actually you're almost better than, because you're getting those results or you're surpassing those results time and time again. That's what shows that you're ready to move on. So in organizations I've worked in, there have been people who are coming from different backgrounds. Some have been expatriates, some have been local in the sense that they did all their schooling here. But you'll be surprised. Some of them have been women, Ghanaian women, who have, climbed up and risen purely because of the attention to the work that they're doing and making sure that they're delivering the results for which they're getting paid. So that's what I would advise any woman at any level, anywhere. Focus on those results and get the job done.
So we should focus on the present and work towards making the present better, and not just dreaming for it's good to dream, but once you're dreaming, you're wasting so much time dreaming. Use more the effort in building what you have today and that will attract.
Building it to be the best it can be.
To be the best you can be.
Yeah, getting the best results that you can get. Because once you get the results, okay, how long are they? You know, are you going to stay in a given role? Once you've shown that you have the capacity to do something, you're given extra capacity, you're given extra responsibility. So if you don't show that you have the capacity to do this small thing, who's going to want to take you and give you more responsibility? So it's not just focusing on the present, it's focusing on delivering on your mandate, delivering on the results that you've set out to do. Any job is a contract, you know. When I hire you or somebody hires me, they say this is what we want to achieve and this is the role you're going to play. I have to make sure that I play that role and try to deliver those results that are expected of me. Yeah.
It's very great. So, now, when you're not thinking of business, when you're not thinking of how to strategize our economy, what do you do?
Oh, I read. I call myself a self-confessed nerd. So I can tell you that this has been since I was a child. I mean, I was one of those children who would be told to go to bed. Parents would switch off the light and I had my own little torch light and I'd be reading my books in bed. That's honestly
really?
me. Apart from reading, I love to watch movies. I don't like the TV, so I don't switch on the TV
when do you watch
and
the
flick
movies?
channels. But if it's a movie, then I can switch it on and watch a particular movie. I love movies and music. I used to play the clarinet, so I've always had some music in my bones. So and music can be very soothing. So yeah, what do I do? Honestly, at the weekends when Sunday is church and family time. Saturday is a day that I can read and just relax.
Really? Don't tell me that you're such a bore when you're not.
What is
working.
boring about reading? It expands your
reading
mind.
is good, but I mean, taking it way back to childhood, I mean, most children, when they're told to sleep, will probably turn on the lights to do something else. But then,
yeah, I think people underestimate the joy and the power of reading. So I read all sorts. I read historical novels, philosophical novels, text.
Romantic
because
novels?
I'm a business person. Not romantic novels. I like spy novels, thrillers, legal thrillers.
Oh, I see.
But I think what fiction does is it allows the mind to explore. People say that it helps you to become a lot more open-minded, which can in turn help in terms of analytical thinking. So don't be surprised that a lot of business leaders will sometimes enjoy a good novel because it's not just textbooks. Textbook will teach you about a subject or tell you a fact you need to know. But what fiction does is it allows the mind itself to explore and helps you to develop your analytical ability, which is critical for business leaders. So you can enjoy whilst, growing your mind at the same time. I'm going to recommend a couple of books to you, Emma.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, so you mentioned family. You had most of your childhood education outside Ghana.
All of it, yeah.
Okay, so are families still here or they're still outside?
So pretty much have all come, one by one. So my family's here. My main family today, which is my husband, is in the UK.
You're gonna come to that?
He works in the UK, so we've been doing this distance thing for a while.
Distance thing? What do you mean by thing?
Well, I'm here, he's there.
So-
We're both working hard to make whatever we're doing count. And obviously having to navigate that, across continents. Something we would not be able to do if we were not the kind of people we are. He's extremely supportive, very understanding. I support him as well, but I can tell you he's really a true modern man and a true rock. Yes, and it's important. If you don't have that, you can't really go about doing your business and doing well in it. I think family is important. Family should be number one for everyone, after God.
Family. That's
After
very
God.
true. Yeah, family.
For me.
I think
Yeah.
it should be for everyone after God, family. That's very sweet. Your husband, is he Ghanaian, African?
He's African, yes. He's from Nigeria, Benin City.
So Ivowi is a Nigerian.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. Ivowi. Okay, so basically, what would you like? Is there something that you are very passionate about aside your business background? Is there any social, corporate social responsibility or something that you personally are passionate about?
Yeah, quite a number of things. Mental health is one of them, and people always, fascinated, asking me why mental health.
Oh, wow.
But I think I've always seen, people who are seeming underdogs, wanting to help them out from ever since I was very, very young. I think the thing with mental health is that it's such a broad spectrum. There's no one definition of mental health. There are so many different mental health illnesses and challenges, from something as simple as stress or anxiety, which people, encounter on a day-to-day basis, to other things like autism, schizophrenia. So honestly, the spectrum is broad, and people don't understand that. And I think because it's so misunderstood, the people are misunderstood and are therefore not treated, the same way as everyone else. And I think that's really unfortunate. And I just like to add my voice, or help to provide a voice to this cause, helping people to understand what mental health really is, and to understand that you, me, anyone can undergo mental health challenges at any particular point in time, and therefore to lift those others up who are struggling because people don't understand it. They're not lending a hand to the cause, whether it's helping to raise awareness, or raising funds to do critical research, or even to look after them in special schools or homes. So this is an area that I'm personally passionate about, and I do what I can with my small voice to to help to create awareness and try.
Why mental health? Do you have any personal experience growing up?
My only personal experience was when I was in school. I don't know what happened, because I just mentioned to you a few minutes ago that I'm a self-confessed nerd. I really was a nerd. But at the same time, I really was. But at the same time, I was popular. So I don't really understand how
Popular
the two...
for what? Being pretty?
Maybe because I was, I was an athlete. So I was the captain of the
So you hit that
football
from
team. I was the captain of the athletics team at one point, captain of the netball. So maybe all of those things. So I was very...
You can't just say that in a rush. No. You're good. You were what? Say that again.
Yeah, so all of these things. I was in
Wow.
all the sports, most of the sports teams as captain. I was, in the choir, doing my music. So
You
I
were
was a
everywhere.
little bit everywhere. So
Wow.
even if I personally was an introvert and I'd love to just go back home and read my books, I was still involved with people. So I was popular, and I used to see the not so popular kids in school being bullied, and I did not like it at all. So I used to defend them, I used to stick up for them, and because I was popular, people would back off. So it's something that was kind of, it kind of was etched into me from very early on, wanting to help defend those who found it difficult to defend themselves. And that's where mental health came in, because as I grew older, I started to see people with different mental health challenges enduring similar types of, treatment or misunderstandings, being classified in a certain way. And that extended to prisons as well. So this is, this is a touchy area, because people say, why do you go to prisons and do prison ministry when you've got criminals, who have done evil things? And to that I say, it's easy to judge. I mean, first of all, you have...
You go to prisons to minister?
Sometimes, yes. So it's easy to judge. I mean, you have, some people are in there for very little things, which if you were to really look into yourself and ask yourself, is that something you could have done? That's one. Second, you have a lot of people who are actually in there wrongfully, Maybe it was a case of mistaken identity or in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then you have genuinely people who are in there who have committed deep crimes. But I think that these should be places of reformation rather than just punishment. I think that, as a Christian as well, I'm someone who believes in God and forgiveness. I know forgiveness can be very difficult. But if we've been forgiven, as I believe that we have, through Jesus, why should we not, work, to help others? So these are some of the reasons behind these areas.
I think it's very beautiful what you're doing and what informed your decision way back in school, defending your fellow colleagues, and it's been built up. And now you have the mandate to do it bigger, and I think it's very beautiful. I think it shows that you're not only beautiful on the outside, but on the inside as well. I think your athletic powers can inform why you look like this.
Maybe.
Maybe
it's why
okay, you're not telling me
maybe it's why I
age,
haven't put on so much weight, even though
Exactly.
I love to eat. I eat a lot,
What's your favorite?
and I eat a lot of chocolate as well,
You don't say.
and ice cream and that. All
You
the-
do?
Yeah, it's terrible, but I enjoy it.
No, it's not. It's good, but some people don't. Their body don't trust you. Hey, you're so lucky, and I'm lucky to have you on my seat here on the Extra Old One show. But we just cannot end this conversation without talking about COVID-19. We are all in this together. Probably you would have been this close to me, but we have to observe social distancing and all the health precautions, safety precautions globally. We are forced to comply, and now we are staying away from your brother and sister is like now the safest thing. How did we get here? How is that affecting you, first of all, as a professional and as a woman?
Let me say how it's affecting me as a person first. I've personally lost a couple of in-laws to COVID. Yes, and it's been very difficult. I mean, they had underlying conditions, diabetes, but it tells you this thing is real. And so when people are not taking it seriously, when they're not taking the advice of the authorities seriously, it's very disturbing. Because I've experienced firsthand in the last couple of weeks what this thing can do. I say that, I've been this year, since January, I've been to several countries, and even in March, I was in 3 different countries. So I've seen the way that the different responses that countries are taking to this COVID crisis, and it's not an easy task for anyone. Any leader anywhere is gonna suffer. Individuals are suffering from it, but I can tell you that Ghana is doing an amazing job. Yeah. From the time I got back to Ghana and I entered the airport, I saw the kind of protocols that were in place in terms of screening. In terms of, ensuring that the hygiene and safety measures were being kept. I'd been to other countries where this was not the case, last, I think it was a week or so ago, someone made a comment on Twitter about what the civilized countries were doing in response to COVID, and, it really got to me, because I said, they're speaking from a place of ignorance, because these so-called civilized nations that he talked about, I had stepped foot in, there was nothing going on. And in these countries, you're hearing of the thousands of deaths and, hundreds happening daily. Here, before anything even really took off, okay, we had 2 cases, and then I heard about the ban on public gatherings. Then we had 6 cases, and then there was a lockdown. And so many measures are being put in place. And I think that, it's to be commended because we're acting early. The thing in a crisis is that when you don't have strong, decisive leadership, it makes you get even more scared. If you're in an organization and you don't know where the organization is going, the leader doesn't tell you what is happening, you don't know if today you'll be there, tomorrow you won't. you become very anxious. So it's really important, and I think that the kind of decisive leadership that has been shown in Ghana, followed by the measures that have been put in place very quickly, are really something to be commended. Not to mention some of the efforts that are being made to just ease the situation for people. Some of these, the electricity. Water bills. These are things that are helping, albeit in a small way, but it really is a great thing. So Ghanaians, we were talking about this earlier, about being patriotic, about being positive, about, walking the talk and not just complaining. I think now is the time for everyone to realize, what we have as a country, what we have to gain, but also what we have to lose by not playing a positive and participatory role, in not educating each other and helping each other to confront a crisis like this together, and instead causing confusion. Who is it going to help?
Some people are politicizing this.
Who is it going to help? It's not going to help you as an individual. It's not going to help the masses who need, support from. We need support from each other. We need to be, told. When I see my team, if I see people who are, not observing the physical distancing, I'm very quick to tell them. When I see people not, washing their hands constantly, I tell them this is what it means, and we all need to play that role. Okay, so we need to spread positive education based on facts, so that we don't, create more anxiety in the system. But importantly, we need to step up and acknowledge that, we're not out of the woods by far. This is going to get, these things usually get more difficult before they get easier. So whilst we're doing something good, whilst Ghana is showing some very, very positive signs that global world leaders are commending, for the efforts we're making, we should jump on that and then support the effort to confront this crisis together. So yes, personally, it's not been easy. Professionally, every single business is going to face challenges. I mean, the one good thing I would say regarding especially the Ghana Commodity Exchange, it's an electronic platform, so you don't need to step out to trade. If you're a member, you have access to our remote trading. You can trade from your home, from wherever you are. You just log on to your computer. And our warehouses currently are in regions which are not really affected in terms of the spread. So we're able to continue. But of course, the numbers go down because there's still a lot of trepidation. Maybe new deposits of commodities into warehouses start to slow. Less volumes being traded. Things like listing the new commodities. I know you're passionate about rice. You throw it in there. The rice, the cashew, all of these new commodities that we're working on, that we wanted to list. We've had to put on hold because we need to do some stakeholder gatherings, get all the information before presenting it to the Securities and Exchange Commission. So of course there's an impact, and we're going to see it.
Losing money.
Of course, I think everyone is losing money. But at least
you hear that? Everyone is losing money. Everybody.
But at least when you plan well and you have a robust system, a robust platform, you can only go from there. So I mean, I'm positive that when we come out of this, I think Ghana, which we will, I think Ghana will be positioning itself well to grow from there. So yeah. As a woman, I don't know what that means. How is COVID affecting me as a woman? It's affecting me as a person.
As a person, not as a woman. Yeah. Probably I would have asked as a mother, but we've already had that discussion. So, and the scariest part of this is that you can take extremely good care of yourself, but if your friend or neighbor doesn't, he could just get you infected, which is very, very scary. So you don't only look out for yourself, like you said, but you look out for others as well. And I hope that when this is all over, which it will be soon, we would have grown more together as a person and not apart. Let's just this social distancing be a thing of the past. I mean, we now want to get closer, and we will not take for granted a handshake, a hug, a peg on the cheek, and just a tap on the shoulder and all that. And the world should come out to be a much better place.
Absolutely. I believe that there are opportunities in everything, and even in this physical distancing, lockdown, people are striking up richer conversations than they ever did because now when they call each other, they're engaged because they're purposely calling each other. Before that, people would be sitting together and everyone's on their phones. I don't know what they're doing. Is it WhatsApp, social media? So they're physically together, but not really together.
You're right.
So, you know, there are opportunities, and we should also take cognizance of that. As leaders, apart from the challenges that you have to address on a daily basis, try to comfort your people, your teams, your homes, your families, there's also the opportunity. At the end of the day, a lot of unique opportunities come out of crises because you're forced to think differently. You're forced to innovate. And often you'll come out stronger than you were before. If you were a leader, you really need to be on the ball so that you maintain that status. And if you weren't, maybe this is the time that it's going to help you to rethink your business model or to come up with a completely new idea that after this crisis is over is going to help you to take off. So let's take advantage of that. Digital. If you hated digital before, now you have no choice. But what opportunities are there in there to develop your space, your business ideas, and so on? So yes, let's accept that this is a tough situation for the world to be in, for individuals to be in, and let's educate ourselves and make sure that we help to stop the spread by doing everything that we can, following the recommendations of the authorities, not making our own decisions and making our own comments and judgments around that. But let's also use the opportunities to reach out to friends, to family, to neighbors, share food, share conversation, check up on people, and I think we'll be a happier people.
I don't know what to say. It's been lovely and very, very informative having you on my seat.
It's been a pleasure, Emma. Thank you so much
for answering my invitation. Finally. Finally. I know you know what that means.
Thank you for
and
having
thank
me.
you too for watching the Extra Old Woman show today. I was honored to have with me Tucci Ivowi. She is a founding member and the Deputy CEO of the Ghana Commodity Exchange. Stay safe and take the measures, the necessary safety measures. You know that we are in a very difficult time, but if we take the necessary safety measures, we are going to come out soon and stronger. This is the Extra Old Woman Show, and my name is Amma Krampa. Thank you for watching today's episode.
She's beautiful, so strong. She is educated, talented. She knows she's a woman.